Hi, Philip. Journal 9, reflection. And I actually broke this down in a couple sections because you had strengths, instructional leader, 5th grade, effective teacher, talks to teachers about strengthening instruction using walkthroughs. And number 2, culture has increased, more solid, organizing culture increased, one of the only males behavior needs. You talked about needing male role models for the boys in the schools for discipline. You started a young men's group. I thought that was fascinating. And that was to support males because of the lack of male role models. And during the young men's group, which I loved, was that they have to formally dress for success. I thought that was so great. Do you do that for females too? Is there a club that does that? Because, as much as I love that that's for the males, because obviously with no male role models, but by the same token, we often negate helping women to dress for success. We don't encourage that in young women. So I was just curious about that. And for weaknesses, you had that just relationships, building professional relationships. And you kind of talked about being able to personally relate to people out of the work environment and out of school. And that they do need to see you as an administrator to respect you and that you can lead, but they also need to see that personal side of you. I always think of students when they're so in awe when they run into their teacher in the grocery stores if, we don't eat. So one of the things that you might look at doing is sometimes it's the idea of finding out what their interests are. So I can remember when I first came to UNCW, I got involved in the art community just as something to do. And I had a couple exhibits and my chair showed up at one of my exhibits. And I was like, what are you doing here? And she said, well, I just came to support you. I thought that was absolutely incredible that she would go out of her way to do that. So one of the things you might try to do is just to identify what their interests are and then see if it's something you can attend, like a dance recital, an art exhibit, or something like that. The other thing that you can do is maybe have a bowling night where you invite all the faculty in and everybody just bowls. And they get to see the weakness in you. Maybe you're not a good bowler, and if you're a good bowler, fine. I had a mentor one time who took me kayaking, and she was a horrible kayaker. I was so much better than her. But the cool part was that when I saw her vulnerable like that, it made me like her more. It made me trust her. So there's all kinds of techniques like that I think can really help form that bond without crossing it. There's a line in there. You don't want to cross the line where they don't respect you or look up to you, but you do have to get to know them personally. And one way is just getting into their world, understanding what their world is, acknowledging it, building this relationship. If I know one of the interns just had a baby and it was in one of the videos, and it was great because then I actually knew the child's name. I could comment on the child and I was in that person's world. So think of things like that, like birthdays, knowing when their birthdays are, how many children they have, if someone's sick, if they've lost someone, just keeping up with all that. Hope this helps. Take care.